Oh. I got a day off today, so I'm gonna try to get some things off my list. I got a playlist for things I'd like to react to on stream, and that big get long. And that's not even like counting the things that I have that I can react to at any time because like they're old. I've seen them. These are just things that the algorithm has brought me that I reacted to for the most part. But I don't know what we're gonna get into. I was thinking like we'll start off light. These cats are all around me. But we'll start off light. I don't know what we're going to get into altogether. Some of this shit I don't know if I can even play. Or if I have to cut it out. Maybe I shouldn't even. Because I had a couple videos like I just wanted to. Again, like it's one of those like old ones that I came back across for some reason. And I was like, yo, put that in the stream. Put that in the stream. I think if I just pause every so often and talk, then we should be alright. But I'll probably intermittently play chess or something. It'll just depend. Maybe some people slide through and we'll just talk to chat. I don't know. Who knows? And I should definitely get on Twitch and see if any of my dogs are streaming. Yeah, my phone's back there on the charger, so I ain't trying to fuck with it right now. But yeah, we'll go over there in a little bit and we'll see who's streaming. How y'all doing today, though? It's been a crazy few days, really few weeks. Really like past year, but like we keep moving forward. We keep making the best moves we can make with the knowledge that we have. And assume we're gonna be great. Assume we're gonna be gravy. Even when things don't go right in your life, or at least the way you foresee them going. The way I look at it is, even those things are going to wind up being in my best interest. Even the bad things. So I try to keep that in mind, even when things don't go the way I wish. But yeah, I mean, just a lot of stuff going on. The little one started high school. We're thinking about moving back onto my family's property. But just a lot, It's a lot all at once. But at the end of the day, if we do move back, I just feel like within a year or two I'm gonna have just way better content. Like I'll be able to actually afford some things. Because right now, like, just rent is ridiculous. And if if we're living on my family's property, then even without my my brother and my mom and my wife, I could afford the mortgage and the electric and whatnot there by myself with what I make. So, let alone with everybody working and contributing to the income, it's just going to be a lot easier to save a much higher percentage of all of our incomes. And so I'm hoping that it'll wind up being a positive, and that I'll end up having a lot more money to invest in better equipment. I do think the internet's kind of trash out there, but it's gotten a lot better since 2022, 2021. It was like, it wasn't as bad as dial up, but it was pretty bad. A lot of motherfuckers probably ain't gonna remember no damn dial up, but regardless. So what we gonna do is, I don't know. I've been feeling indecisive today. Maybe we should start with some chess. Nah. I'm gonna play a few things. I'm gonna react to a few things. And we'll see where we go after that. But I appreciate y'all coming through. Don't forget to drop a follow, like, subscribe, all that bullshit. I don't know if it really does anything anyway, but regardless, I'd appreciate it. And yeah, like, let's look at some shit. All right. I don't know if y'all know nothing about about that Ricky Sauce. All right. But golly, I mean, this is almost as classic to me as like the what is it? It's like that it was an animation of Gucci, OJ the Juice Man, and I think Ross. And what, Milk and Cookie. Maybe I should find that shit. Well, I can't be stuck on parodies all day, but we gonna yeah, let me just give you a little, let me back up just a bit, and oh my god.
I be eating my food, sometimes I shit in my drawers.
I can't. I don't think I can, bro. Like, this is wild. I can't lie to you. Officer Ricky, I have very little respect for that man in the first place because a lot of people are like, well, how you going to be rapping about moving keys when you're a corrections officer? And while I understand that complaint, it's actually not all that far fetched, you know? I mean, prison guards are notorious for bringing things into prison to sell to prisoners, so that part ain't really that crazy to me. The idea of a drug dealing prison guard, that ain't far fetched to me. What I don't like is stealing someone's name who actually seems to be a decent human being and then not making it right. Now, maybe there was nothing that Officer Ricky could have done for the real freeway Ricky Ross that like would have made it right for him. But at the same time, I kind of feel like everybody knew where the real freeway was when Ross blew up in the first place. So it's like once you had some money, you couldn't have found him and reached out to him and tried to pay respect in some way. Maybe he did. I don't know. But for some reason, like the idea of you building a caricature of another person under their name and becoming a star with it just kind of irks me. Let alone if it's not like with their explicit consent or like even they're motivating you to do so. So really, this is kind of how I see Ross.
And doodle on the floor, by homie, who can you call? My down bitch, don't bring me food when it's cold. Gotta go and take a shit before I get on the road. A lot of food time. Let's smell.
I don't know why, but the fakeness of the beard, it just even adds it. It makes it even greater to me for some reason.
Be hitting your nose, eating Hershey chocolate kisses that be glittered in gold. Follow the chicken tenders and swallow the chicken tenders.
Follow the chicken tenders and swallow the chicken tenders. What's this nigga on? Oh, fuck. Alright.
I love a hungry girl that swallows the dollar menu. My money tripled up, so I went and bought a steak. Ate a new plate, so I'm running out of space. This food is a blessing, and I'm putting in your face. Before I eat another snack, I'm gonna give it all its grace.
Sex. Sex. Nasty fart music. I never noticed that before. Alf Che? Exclamation? Oh, well, they're probably not the original uploaders. I don't know. Anyway. I don't think I could do that. Should we... Let's,
just ate all your food, then he ate up mine. His fart smell like cow doo-doo.
He looking directly. How you looking, man? Look it directly. It's like, did you just say my farts smell like cow doo doo? What the hell is going on, man? I cannot.
That ain't no lie. He just let it go. Rather that's right. I smell here for sure. I know that you smell me.
Okay. Okay, I think I just imagine somebody putting in this much effort to fucking shart on themselves with their pants on. Take off that Florida Gators hat, boy. All right, all right.
Listing your house on the market isn't the only way to sell your house. Selling to us is much faster.
So, if we're gonna get flagged for one, well, it's probably one of these two. I don't know which, but probably both. But again, for some reason, this is like one of the funniest parodies I've ever. I don't know if you've heard it yet, but back in the day, there was a time you couldn't turn on a radio station, walk into a store, and not hear this particular piano sequence, whatever you want to call it. We ain't gonna worry about that right there. We ain't worrying about that at all. What we're gonna worry about is not doing like Ricky Sauce and sharting ourselves from laughter over this.
Hello? What you say now, that Chuck? What? No, I'm just playing. Man, you know, I'm just out here watching all these music videos and shit, man. What if I was rapping about the same shit they rapping about? Shit.
Anybody know where this is going?
Making my way through the hood, sipping this yak. Niggas about to get blown with the Mac. Black
Black egg. I don't know why, bro. I really don't know why this shit just cracks me the fuck up.
A black egg. Riding around the block with a Glock. Yo ass finna get shot. That's the silencer.
Boom, 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 boom. That's the grenade launch.
That's the grenade launch. I'm finna kill you. I'm finna drill you. And now you bleeding. They play it. They play it.
When I shoot you in the neck. But all I can say is, bro, sometimes these things will happen, though. Like, a song that you hear enough, you start making up your own, like, lyrics just to, you know, just entertain yourself. But then, like, it gets to a point where you're like, yeah, I have to sing this to somebody. I have to show somebody this. Whew. And this is one of those. I could show you a few of those, like the Jack Skellington. What is this? It's that song like "What's This," but instead it's I forget what it is. Right? Fuck this or the fuck is this? The fuck is in the air. Yeah. The fuck. That one, the Let It Go parody, when the girls forced me to watch, well, they didn't force me, but when I agreed to watch Frozen with the girls, they, when it, when it got to, Let It Go, boy, it was just, I'm a hoe, can't hold it back anymore. They was less than entertained, but still, I didn't care about it. You had to let it go. When I shoot you in the neck.
When I shoot you in your neck, the noise gon' play. You know I will shoot you in your eyes just so I can hear the play. Making my way through the hood, sipping this yak. Niggas about to get blown with the Mac.
Again, I can't tell you why. As a matter of fact, we're going to get on a tangent. Because this shit, it's so funny too, because like, I have no idea why this parody reminds me of this X-Men parody. Now, it's gotta be old, because when X-Men 3 came out, it was old. And in X-Men 3, they used the line from the parody. Which, I don't know. For all I know, it's in a comic book. But I had never heard any tell of that. So, like, I'm just saying, like, we'll watch that after. But I have no idea why this reminds me of that. But I just find this fucking hilarious. I don't know. Just that gangsta ass, like, when I shoot you in the neck, on top of Vanessa Carlton's fucking piano. Like, I don't know why. That shit just blows me away.
Riding around the block with a Glock. Yo ass finna get shot. That's the silencer. That's the grenade launcher. I'm finna kill you. I'm finna drill you. And now you bleeding. They play it. They play it. When I shoot you in your neck, the noise gon' play it. You know I will shoot you in your eyes just so I can hear they play it.
Okay. T. Sims Films Inc. is the channel Skinbone 100 Miles. 1,000 Miles Remix. Oh, shot by at T. Sims Films. Pretty hilarious. But yes, so off to the tangent. Real quick, tangentially. If I can even find it. I don't know what the... But... wasn't difficult to find, was it?
Yeah, it's the Juggernaut, bitch. Yeah, Charles, I beat the shit out of this. Juggernaut, bitch. Yeah, it's the Juggernaut, bitch. Yeah, Charles, I beat the shit out of you. Get off me, bitch. Who the fuck are you? What the fuck is wrong with you? I'm the Juggernaut, bitch.
Get a motherfucker. I'm gonna whoop your ass.
Silly bitch, your weapons cannot harm me. Don't you know who the fuck I am? I'm the Juggernaut.
Hey.
Oh,
Yes,
motherfucker, I thought I forgot.
Your mama does
You
your ass
me,
fun,
Charles.
motherfucker.
Shut the fuck up, Charles.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
you
beat
beat
your
that.
ass. Ah!
Too fast.
You better run, Charles. Get that shit out of my face, bitch. Don't you know who the fuck I am? Oh, she's fucking with my helmet. I got this shit in 4th grade. Oh, no! My face. Pimp smack your ass, bitch. You my hooker now. Now it's time for me to take my prize. I'm gonna rape you, bitch. You ready? You ready? You ready, huh, bitch? You ready, bitch? Shut the fuck up, Charles. Shut the fuck up, Charles. No! Charles, you got in my head. I'm the Juggernaut, bitch.
Shit fucking kills me that like not half the time, but a lot of the times you can hear him breaking up while he's trying to record these lines. But dude, every time the Juggernaut shows up, it's just fucking hilarious. I don't give a fuck.
Charles! What the fuck is this shit? Oh, I'm tripping off acid.
And I will say this too. That X-Men animated series is much more than that intro song, which is bananas too, but I really fucked with that X-Men animated series. I thought that shit was fire. To be fair, I haven't watched it in adulthood, but I'll at least give it the benefit of the doubt that it would still hold up. I can't say that about like Street Sharks or a number of shows that were on the airs, on the waves back then.
So I'm hoping I can kick it with some spider.
You know, boy, Raggy's out. You know, boy, Raggy's out. You know, boy, Raggy's out. You know, boy. Gotcha, bitch. Yeah, now what, motherfucker? Got my pimp cane, bitch.
She's gonna be one of your hookers.
Shut up, bitch.
Oh! This looks like the Punisher. I got my helmet back.
Help you out, motherfucker. That was my $50. You know you owe me, motherfucker, from the last time.
Motherfucker, I custom made your suit. Don't you see what the fuck I'm wearing? The Juggernaut, bitch.
I don't give a fuck who the fuck you are, you big looking motherfucker.
Don't you know I will beat the shit out your ass, Charles? I will beat the shit out you with Charles, as a matter of fact. I don't give a fuck. I'm the Juggernaut, bitch.
So Charles is dead, right? Although Xavier can do so many things with his powers. It's like if he was able to, I feel like he could walk. I don't see any reason why he couldn't, but let's not ask all these questions in the parody. Fuck.
Yeah, just love looking over the city in this motherfucker, my pimp cane. Hell yeah.
Goddamn great.
Yeah, who said that shit? Nigga, don't you know who I am? What the fuck?
Who said it? It's me. You see my motherfucking spaceship? This is a Dodge. See this?
This is a Dodge. Fuck you mean this is a Dodge?
Fucking crimson red shit I'm
Who
wearing?
the fuck are you red looking motherfucking mustard looking mustard?
Ah, ain't that a bitch? I'm ketchup, motherfucker. Mustard. Zap your dick.
Motherfucker was trying to roast him and say ketchup or said mustard instead of ketchup. I don't want to see any mustard fucking edits.
Dumbass. Bow down to a true pimp, bitch.
Heard it, motherfucker.
I don't give a damn. I'm made out of Laffy Taffy, motherfucker.
This is a fucking stripper. Oh, it's the Juggernaut. Shut your dumb ass. What the fuck was that? They shoot me. I'm the Juggernaut. I'm finna kill him and I'm gonna rape him. I'm gonna eat his fucking costume. Just wait.
I'm gonna kill him, I'm gonna rape him, I'm gonna eat his fucking costume. Just wait. This shit is wild, bro. I forgot how wild this shit was.
Fuck him up, nigga. Fuck that. Oh, what the hell is he doing? What the fuck is this shit? Nigga. You can't harm me. Are you a fucking ass?
Are you a fucking ass? Oh my gosh, I'm gonna. What happens if I just leave it alone? I don't know how the hell I'm still getting Microsoft Teams updates. Just give me a second. There we go. Are you a fucking ass? Tell you how old this shit is? I can't really tell you. All I know is I still had a damn flip phone. So if that gives you any indication, when was the last time you seen a flip phone?
Do you not know who I am? He must not know who I am. I'm the Juggernaut, bitch. I'm gonna hit you with your own pimp. I'm bad. I'm the baddest motherfucker in the world.
I'm gonna hit you with your own pimp. Yeah, I'm bad. Baddest motherfucker in the world.
Have you ever seen a costume like mine?
Finish him off already. Stop talking.
Comb your beard. I don't want to hear that shit.
Hey, you crimson-looking motherfucker. That's what I said.
Oh,
Crimson.
I'm ready.
I'm ready to beat his ass. I remember a lot of these. That's crazy. I'm surprised I remember a lot of these. Comb your beard. I don't want to hear that shit.
To beat his ass. What the fuck?
Welcome to Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous. That's right, bitches. This is my crib. Oh, man, look at all this money. Hell yeah, selling them hoes is easy as hell.
Nigga, I don't sell hoes. I sell candy. Can't you see my fucking outfit? I'm a part-time stripper and I do hair. Fuck is
What? I'm a part-time stripper and I do hair. Okay.
wrong with him?
Man, I don't want to hear that shit, man. Just count the money already before Juggernaut's ass.
Oh, it's the Juggernaut, bitch, and I got a bitch with me. Yes, we're gonna have a
I
fucking
think you always
great
gotta
party.
scream whenever you come into the room. Look at
Alright. Every time he comes in, he's talking about just destinying somebody or fucking Epsteining somebody. It's a little much. Diddling somebody. My gosh.
I'm the goddamn Juggernaut. You see how tight my outfit is? I have to. That's the only way I can breathe. If I don't do it, shut up, bitch.
you little motherfucker. I'm gonna whoop your
Now, you
ass.
can make a choice. I can either take this shit or you can give it to me willingly.
I want it. I want it willingly.
Oh, I know you do,
I
you
want it.
dirty bitch. I'm the Juggernaut. I'm ready to fuck. I've been ready to fuck. My suit's so tight.
My suit's so tight. Yeah, but this is obviously a little much. I don't think it goes much further than this, though.
I don't even need no condom. Look at what my outfit's made out of. Yeah, that's right. Look real close. Amazed and be amazed at the size, the sheer strength. Oh. Look at the size of my gun, bitch. Think that's something? Wait till I take off this latex, show you it's a real pistol, bitch. What the fuck, Charles? I wonder what the fuck is on TV tonight.
You kill the bitch? Did you?
But I'm about to kill this bitch. I'm about to fuck in the air. Blow her brains out, because I'm the goddamn Juggernaut, bitch. I'm a break in half.
Yo. Okay, I got a few things going on. We I got too much going on right now. So I'll tell you what we're gonna do. Fucking here. Blow her brains out because I'm the goddamn juggernaut, bitch. I'm gonna break his head. Is that even what he said?
Juggernaut, I gotta finish something.
Damn juggernaut, bitch. I'm gonna break it in half.
Juggernaut, I gotta finish something wrong with you.
Something's wrong with you. This channel is called Leggy, Leggy, the Juggernaut Bitch HD. If you want to check that shit out. Right now, I'm gonna put it back on the music for a minute. And then what we gonna do? Is I'm gonna take a piss. Shouldn't have been drinking so damn much. But I'm gonna take a piss and then I'm gonna see what the fuck, why I keep getting text message after text message. And then we gonna jump back in. Alright, y'all. Give me a second. I guess my job's getting us new sweatshirts, so ask the sizes, and then you got 30 plus people all responding. So unfortunately, that's going to be going on for a minute. Well, I think what we'll do, because I don't really know what I want to do for I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't know what the fuck I want to do. as far as what I want to watch or react to. So, but if I start playing chess, I'll probably get sucked into that shit. So let's just keep going down the list, huh? How about that? Yeah, we'll just keep going down the list until we find something. Okay, I think we've... Oh, shit. My bad. Alright, I think we've done just about all of these. Damn, we've done a lot more than I thought. Okay. Let's see here. Man, some of these things are just old. I don't know how we're even... There is one thing that well, we're probably going to start moving towards more heavy topics and whatnot, but there is one that I don't think I have on here. I think. Alright, we're going to have to jump off of this again. Is it an actual debate? Okay.
You know, how do you feel about the black community receiving reparations?
I'm against that. Yeah.
Okay. Well, why so?
So here's.
You know, how do you feel about the black community receiving reparations?
I'm against that. Yeah.
Okay. Well, why so?
So here's my view, and I want to hear yours.
Okay.
Which is that I did not own slaves, and you were not a slave.
Correct.
Right. So we are individuals, and therefore we cannot be held accountable or should receive something from something that didn't happen to us or something we did not do. Basically, what you're saying is I'm going to take money from Charlie Kirk for something he didn't do, and give it to a group of something to somebody of something they also didn't do. For what reason? How is that just? So what is a way that we could try to help all communities? Here's maybe we can find some common ground,
Sure,
right?
I'm listening.
Instead of reparations.
Sure.
Is that we need to break the cartel of public sector teacher unions and make it easier for people of all backgrounds, but specifically Hispanic and black individuals, to have a quality education. Secondly, we need to put fathers back in the home.
Yeah, I agree with that.
If we can find common ground on that, I think that would go a lot further than just giving cash for people that happen to be related to something evil that happened a little while ago.
You know, how do you feel about the black...
Okay. So, while I do agree that there's much better ways than just giving cash out to help American citizens, regardless of what their ancestry is, I do agree with that. While I do agree with that, here's an issue. Well, at least maybe. It depends on how you see things. How do you want your government to respond? Well, we got this. Oh. Yeah, no. Who might you be, good sir? I'm gonna go ahead and shoot you a follow. I appreciate the advice, my man. How the fuck I even go to dark mode on this shit? I don't fucking know. Shittings. Don't really care. Notifications, playback, performance, AV, prefer AV, privacy, billing, payments, advanced settings. What do we got here? I don't fucking know. Who cares? Account, notifications. I don't know. To be quite honest with you, how the fuck do I do that? Oh. Da-da-da. Here it is. Maybe, I don't know. To be quite honest, settings. That's settings again. Switch count. Appearance. Dark. Thank you. Because, God, I was getting tired of that. Yeah, no, but I didn't realize that I need to change it for shorts. I appreciate you. All right. There's that. And then let's just... So we were talking about the reparations, right? So Charlie Kirk, I definitely fucking agree that there are better ways. Exactly, yeah, flashback. I definitely agree that there are better ways to help a group rather than just give them cash. My issue is the federal government is the one that wronged this group of people, say black people in this particular instance. If the federal government had no precedent ever for giving reparations to any wrong group that the federal government had wronged, then again you'd have a perfectly coherent government, in how they've addressed a grievance that a group had. What you probably shouldn't do is promise a group of wronged individuals 40 acres and a mule and then not deliver. And for me, the country that I would live in, the government that I would want, I wouldn't want them promising people things and not delivering them. I wouldn't want them lying to the people. So, when you've lied about 40 acres and a mule, and that's, just from then, that's what, 160 years of interest just from that. That's on you. That's the government's fault. It's not people's fault that the government didn't come through on that. But again, had they promised that, not delivered, and never given reparations to any other wrong party, wrong group, along the lines of ethnicity, I would again be able to say, look, we don't do that. But the federal government has given, in several instances, has given reparations. One of the easiest ones that you can point to as an issue when we're comparing the two is what Japanese citizens went through in their internment camps during World War II. What do we got? We've got them in there for what? At max, a few years. What? We got in the war at 41 and the war was over at 43. So at most 2 years of wrong treatment by the government. The government immediately handed them reparations. And the government has. Japanese citizens were given it. Exactly. Yes. Every race has been enslaved. That's not my point. My point is the federal government lied and said that they would give 40 acres and a mule and did not. And then were perfectly capable to give reparations to Irish, Italian, Japanese Americans who were wronged by the government. That's a problem. Because now you got to explain why you didn't give it to the people who spent 400 years in slavery, 190 or so, I guess. So I guess it would only be like 90 or so under the federal government. But I understand you can't pay us for that because you just have to give half the country to like 13% of the population. That's not right. You can't do that, obviously. So, but for me, I want my government to be one that keeps its word. So if you promised a group 40 acres and a mule, at bare minimum, can you imagine with interest what 40 acres and a mule is worth after 160 years with inflation? But that's not black people's fault, right? And also, if we don't even want to talk about slavery, when we separated and became citizens, built our own cities, what happened? The federal government decided to come and bomb our cities in Tulsa, for instance. So we've got an issue here. I don't care. I really don't. Were the reparations paid to other groups when they were still alive or wronged by the government in the same time period? With the Japanese, yes. They were still alive when the government did that. But guess what? The government fucked up and didn't do that with the slaves. So do I want my government to be the kind that does the right thing and honors their word even if the government at the time missed the opportunity to actually do what was right? Shouldn't my government still try to do something? Like, and at any point in time, they could have offered black people something, especially like 1960s, and it wouldn't have mattered what it was. It could have been very, very little in comparison to the 4 billion a year we give to Israel, the however many hundreds of billions we've spent on Ukraine so far. They could have done this eons ago. They're just printing money anyway. It doesn't have any actual value. They could have done this at any point in time. They specifically decided not to. That's my problem. That there's a reason why this group, we needed to steal their history. This group, we cannot give reparations to or give any leg up whatsoever. There's a reason why. I don't really want to get into that. But at the end of the day, if you did wrong by a group of people and you didn't fix it before that group of people had died, and then as the federal government, I feel like you're obligated to do something for the people who are descended from the people that you wronged and never made it right. Not saying that that's going to just all of a sudden lift black people out of the places that they choose to live. I know what welfare does too. Like, welfare has been one of the issues that's keeping people down as opposed to lifting them up. There was a time where there was social shame associated with being on a government assistance program, and people strived even harder to get off of welfare than to be on it. And now I think that's reversed to a certain extent, where because they've broken up the home, because they've gotten they use welfare to do that, where a lot of people it's easy calculus if you're poor enough that the government's going to give me more money than I'm going to get from this man that I created these babies with if he's out of the house. So then kick him out of the house. And that has started to affect all the races in a much more apparent way. But just my thoughts on it. Like, that's my thing, is it's more about the government keeping their word and being like, if you're going to say, you're based on Judeo-Christian ethics and values, then I think it makes perfect sense to be like, hey, we wronged y'all for 400 years. We then lied to you and said that we would give you this, and we never did. We're going to give you something to atone for that. We're going to give the descendants of those people something to try to atone for that. It's not, it would still be, there'd be black people who are paying taxes that would wind up, you see what I'm saying, going there. It's not like just you as a white person or just you as no, we as Americans would make it right. to people that America wronged. That's my idea of it. But especially for citizens of this country, yeah, governments by nature are unethical. Hence why we have laws and amendments for accountability. This is true. I hate to say it, but whenever there's a reason why I'm not a part of any organized religion. As much as I believe in God and believe in the Bible, I'm not a part of any organized religion, because once there's enough people for a psychopath to hide in, like, they're gonna reach the top. They're gonna do what they need to reach the top. Once you get a certain amount of people, you're gonna get these more malevolent individuals that are gonna be near the top. Most times. Religion does work in that manner. I mean, that's why, like, I don't practice a religion as much as, again, I believe what I believe, but doing anything religiously, and it's people using those religions and the people that believe in them to destroy others and gain more power and influence. The Jesuits have been pretty instrumental throughout history in this regard. But it is what it is. But that was my thoughts. I know I'd just seen that not that long ago. So what are we getting into? I don't know. Oh, do I gotta, or maybe if I just refresh. Yeah, just refresh.
If you're looking for a website or domain, then check out today's sponsor, Squarespace.
Man,
Hello,
fuck you. Sorry. So I've got to all of these. Damn. Okay, I've done more than I thought. I like that movie, Collateral. I'm gonna have to, let's look into it. What is it here? No, I want to go down a different road. What do we got here? Got some Thomas Sowell. The Origins of Woke.
The Vision of the Anointed. Now that's an interesting title. Who are the anointed?
They are the elite in the media, in politics. All of those who think that third parties ought to be making people's decisions for them. The subtitle is Self-Congratulation as a Basis for Social Policy. In other words, people who think that everything that's wrong with the country is due to the fact that other people are just not as smart as they are. And if only they could, or people like them could take over and make our decisions, we'd be so much better off.
But in early America, didn't this sort of educated class make the decisions for everybody?
As far as governmental decisions,
yeah.
But the government itself didn't make the decisions for everyone.
Uh-huh.
Now, you can't decide where your kid's going to school. You can't decide whether or not they can move a halfway house for drug users next door to you or whatnot.
It's out of your control. The government decides
That's
that
right.
stuff.
The government decides too many things. They decide also how your children are to be raised. You may have an idea about at what age children should be introduced to sex, and in what manner, with what kind of moral commitments.
You mean as a parent, you have this...
As a parent, yes. The schools have taken that over. By the time you even think about it, they've already had years, of showing...
They're passing out condoms to these kids.
Passing out condoms is not even the half of it. They're showing motion pictures of naked couples engaging in sex, both homosexual and heterosexual, in the 7th grade. And if you complain about it, that's...
I don't remember that. If this is 1995, well, maybe by the time I got to 7th grade, they weren't having that shit. I do remember, I think 9th grade, I was 13, and we had to take a sex education class. And they showed a baby being born in real life. So, it was a very hairy vagina. But I can't imagine them showing like a porno or a gay porno in 7th grade. That's fucking wild. Not surprising. When you don't have any objective standards, something beyond the material, it's very easy to justify just about anything. As long as it's for the greater good. If you can make an excuse that lends itself to it being in service of the greater good, then everything's permissible, basically. And that's where it gets to, like, we can burn down the city and it's not considered, or we can burn down the city, we can take over the city, we can burn down a police department. It's not considered an insurrection. But if the other group gathers, it's an insurrection. You see what I'm saying? You'd be surprised, like, how they will manipulate or spin in such, like they will tie themselves in knots to justify terrible things if they think it's in service of the greater good. So whenever I hear we're doing it because, like, not we're breaking the law to do what we believe is morally right, but we're going to do what we know to be immoral for a moral cause. That's when I'm like, nah, you done fucked up.
That's considered to be censorship.
You can't pull your kid out of school and say they don't have to put up with this stuff? I guess you could,
No.
but you'd be...
Well, if you have a private school to put him in, but you have compulsory attendance laws, and if you don't have the money for private schools, then you're stuck.
Where did this country get off the track and decide that the federal government should make most of our decisions?
Well, it started to some extent in the New Deal, but I think the 1960s is sort of the golden age, if you want to put it that way, of this whole mindset. And that's what the book's about. It's about a mindset. It's not about a series of policies, but of showing how in policy after policy, those who think a certain way will try to take over other people's decisions.
How do you characterize the liberal philosophy today from the conservative philosophy?
Oh, that's a tough one. I guess the main thing about the liberals, again, is that they think a program will do it. If there's something that they don't like in the society, you have set up a program and that will solve the problem. I think one of the things one of the words they use a lot is solutions. And
not only are there a lot of times not solutions, or at least not cut and dry solution, where you can actually erase the problem. Most times you can't erase a problem. When we're talking about societies, we're talking about millions of people. Like, that's why, like, I laugh at the idea of gun control or whatever, because there's always that meme of, if only somebody would ban drugs, then nobody would use drugs. And the idea that you can't stop drugs and weapons from getting into a prison, but you think you're going to stop guns and drugs from getting into this country? Like, it's wild to even think about that. But it is kind of the liberal mindset of, just, I'm going to do what the fuck, what sounds best. And usually the idea is, well, if we start a program, we create a governmental agency that's specifically designed to deal with this problem, it'll solve the problem. But in reality, it's just going to cost money, and I'd say 9 times out of 10 exacerbate the problem, make the problem worse.
argue here and elsewhere that there are no solutions. There are just trade-offs. So, for example, when Ralph Nader launched his attack against the Corvair many years ago, he said it's an unsafe car and it has these safety problems and those safety
Yeah, exactly. There's, I'll just read it. I'd like to congratulate drugs for winning the war on drugs. Absolutely. There's just no. How are you gonna? How? How are you gonna stop everybody from doing this? I've seen people make the argument with guns that, like, well, if we made it super difficult for people to get guns, then it'll be difficult for it'll be so difficult for criminals to get it that criminals won't have them. When in reality, we all know criminals will sell other criminals the guns. Like they're not going to go and get it some legal way. And even if that was the case, if somebody's like also like, oh well, it should only be 6 bullets or 7 bullets or whatever, and I'm like, even if you had a revolver, it makes no difference. If I seen a guy in China stab 19 people before they stopped him, you gonna ban knives? No. The guy gets in a car and mows through a bunch of people in his car. You gonna ban cars? No. Exactly, yeah. Law-abiding citizens aren't the ones committing murder, aren't the ones committing these crimes, so... And they need to be able to protect their family. I just don't... I can't. Like, I don't know how they do it in Britain and everywhere else that you can't. Yes, humans will find a way. Like, with our bare hands. How many deaths happen at someone's bare hands every day? Like, a rope is all we need. Like, if somebody's committed to committing an atrocity like that, yeah, like, I don't think it's... I mean, it would be more difficult to, like what happened with Trump, like, or Reagan, or whoever. Like, it would be way more difficult to actually hit one of them without guns being present. But yeah, in most all cases, you could be in danger. I seen also someone suggested, like, you could be, like, maybe a smart policy would be to test people who are carrying, like, if for whatever reason the police stop you, like, I don't know what scenario they're thinking of. If at any point in time you get stopped by the police and get breathalyzered and you have over .08 and you're also carrying a gun, like, you should be arrested. When I'm like, yo, a lot of violent shit happens at clubs and bars and places where people get drunk because alcohol contributes to violence a lot. So that would be the last place I'd be worried about taking people's right to defend themselves, because that's what it is at the end of the day, on an individual level and as a populace against the government itself. Like, I'd say it almost tongue-in-cheek sometimes when I see videos where Brits or Australians are complaining about their government's choices, and it's kind of hard for me to not lean all the way into it. But a lot of times I'll say something in jest, in the nature of, like, or in the vein of, your forefathers gave up their right to defend themselves. They turned in their guns. You should leave. You should leave, or you should aggressively argue that y'all are allowed to defend yourselves again, because until then, the government knows they can do whatever they want. You have no real means of resisting them. Even if they send their police out with billy clubs, you know how many weapons they actually have. There's no fucking way. There's a reason why ain't no other armies stepped foot on American shores. Because our citizens have more guns than the Chinese military. Our citizens, not even including our military. It's more important than just the individual, but at the same time, for each individual, there's nothing more important than defending the individual. So it is what it is. Let's see what else he's got.
Problems. And in some respects, he was correct, not all. But the fact is, there were other things that a Corvair would do that made it safer than other cars. And on net balance, it was as safe as the rest of them.
Are you saying there are no solutions to our problems as Americans?
There are no solutions to anybody's problems. There are trade-offs. You know, safety is a class.
I like that, trade-offs. Because there's going to be pros and cons to any solution that government tries to implement. But I don't know, like, it's weird how the left seems to focus more on government solving the problems in a way of like, for instance, with food, like the obesity problem in America. I've seen Destiny and Vosh and a few others I can't remember right now make the argument something like, well, then we need government programs that will buy all organic food, and that's going to cost more money and contribute to more bureaucracy. And if it's going to contribute to more bureaucracy, most people aren't going to vote for that or want that. But then, like, I ask myself, is that really the only way of changing the eating habits of the youth of America and hopefully, most of America in general? No. You could literally do, this word has negative connotations, but you could literally do a propaganda campaign that encourages and almost brainwashes children into thinking that organic foods, vegetables, fruits, and all that are the desirable thing. You could do that with very little money without adding to the bureaucracy. So but at the end of the day, they don't want us to be strong. They want to be able to divide America like the Jesuits have been trying to do since at least the Civil War. But probably before that. But let's continue.
Classic example. Every year, so many hundreds of thousands of people are vaccinated against measles, smallpox, those kinds of things. Now, this saves several hundred lives, it's estimated. It also causes brain damage to about 30 kids a year. Now, there are no solutions in that. There are just trade-offs.
What about crime? Take crime as an issue. Can we solve the crime issue or fundamentally solve it so it's reduced?
It also causes brain damage to about 30 kids a year.
Now, I was very much against getting jabbed with anything, being as I was a 30-year-old in good health. I don't like the idea of jabbing anybody with anything, unless they are already sick, I don't like the idea of vaccines anyway. Take this in case shit. A lot of times, it's the same thing with, like, insurance to a degree. Like, you're paying a protection racket. You're paying this money in case shit happens. It doesn't seem like a good investment in my estimation. But 30 kids getting brain damage every year from it. And it was an accepted fact apparently in 95 that happened. Like now I think a lot of people would argue against that ever being the case. But I'll tell you this. I couldn't tell you what. I'd have to ask my mom and see if she remembers which one it was, but I was at the doctor's, had to get a vaccine. I think I had to get 2 shots. And I got the first shot. Okay, cool. I got the second shot. And as soon as she... You know that feeling when it's not hitting bone, but it feels like it almost? Like that's like the feeling. If I had to describe it anyway, that's probably how I would describe it. The minute that I felt that pain, I blacked out. And in my mind, what I'm experiencing is being on a wooden roller coaster, going, up and down on a wooden roller coaster. What's actually happening is I'm having a seizure. And the way that they handled it, again, as a kid, I was happy to just walk out of there. But it's crazy to me that they allowed a child to have a seizure in front of them and there was no follow-ups. There was no anything. Like, wouldn't that be a worrisome thing that a shot that you're giving to hundreds of children every school year has caused one of them to have a seizure? No, they acted like, oh, thank goodness, everything's all right. All right now. We'll wait for a couple weeks to give you that next shot. That's right. I think I was supposed to get 3 shots that day, but on the second one, I had a seizure, so they delayed the last. Weird. So me personally, that's why I have an aversion to it. A lot of people might call it anti-science or anti-vax or whatever they want to call it, but I don't give a shit what they call it. What I call it is I don't enjoy having a bunch of foreign substances floating around in my veins. Let's continue though. I had to back it up for that one.
Now, there are no solutions in that. There are just trade-offs.
What about crime? Take crime as an issue. Can we solve the crime issue or fundamentally solve it so it's reduced?
Well, then that's a trade-off.
Yeah, when you say reduced, okay, yeah, I'm sure that we can reduce it. But when you say solve the crime problem, it's like, no, you cannot. Because people be like, well, if you ended poverty, you'd end crime. You know how many rich people commit crimes? We should all be very aware that having money doesn't all of a sudden make you a good person or make you a legally upstanding citizen. You crazy?
No, you don't solve it. There will always be crime. There always has been. But you want to keep it down to some level. It's not this astronomical thing we have today. For example, the liberals right now are saying, crime has eased off in New York, and that's true. There were 6 times as much crime in New York a few years ago as there was in 1960. Now it's down to 5 times as much crime as there was in 1960. Now, that's not what I...
And people love spinning talking points like that. I ain't gonna lie to you. Like, you will see that shit a lot. A lot. Where people use the statistic of, look at this 3-year period. It's obvious crime is going down because or let's say 5-year period. In 2020, it was at this level, and in 2025, it's at this level. But then when you look at the overall from the past 20 years, it's gone up exponentially. You know what I'm saying? But they'll make the argument with the statistics focused on a very narrow set of years. Like they'll narrow the criteria down to such an extent that they can then talk about things within that criteria and give the impression that crime is down, or this is down, suicide, whatever it might be, or up if they want to spin it that way. You'll see it a lot. A lot. What did they just try to use that in this election cycle? Crap. I remember that there was a talking point that they were trying to I think they were trying to talk about like 2023, or I think they were trying to talk about 2024, saying that immigration is down compared to 2020 or 2021, or yeah, I think 2021 or 2022. But I'm like, okay, so you let in 10 million people, which is way more than Trump let in, and then you took that number down to 6. I'm just making numbers up, but it was something along those lines, if I'm not mistaken. And people were trying to use that argument to again say that, no, what are you talking about? And if they cared about it, and that's, I'll get on a tangent about that one. If Republicans really cared about the border, then they would have got that border sign, or that border bill signed, but they listened to Trump and didn't sign it, when in reality, that bill had all this pork on it, is what they would say, is a bunch of money to things that Americans wouldn't typically want to associate with. But you hide it within helping children or closing the border, or something that they do want, in order to try to get those millions and billions of dollars past them in some other way, in a way that they can feel like justifiable. And if they shoot it down, now we have a talking point politically to say that they shot it down. So even when we were trying to help the border situation, they were preventing us from doing it so that they could use that for political ammunition. If you study Hegel, you'll get a better understanding of like the dialectic going on.
I regard as a great trend, unless it continues a lot more strongly.
The liberals think we need more education, and we need to help people in the inner city more to cut down crime there. Conservatives would say we have to be tougher on crime. Is either of them correct?
I no. You see, the conservative view is really not a solution. It's a trade-off. It says, yes, it would be wonderful if we could do all these things to prevent crime in the first place. We just don't happen to be that smart. And so what we do, we put people behind bars who commit violent crimes. Now, a few years ago in East Palo Alto, which is not far from Stanford University, a minority community, low income, they had the doubtful distinction of being the murder capital of the United States in proportion to their population. The next year, murder and all sorts of other violent crimes dropped a tremendous amount, 30, 40, 50% in 1 year. Now, that wasn't because they discovered the root causes of crime or because they worked out everything that was wonderful. They launched a campaign that put a lot of the bad guys behind bars. And when they were behind bars, they didn't commit as many crimes.
Makes sense to me.
And the thing that even in a high crime area, the great majority of the people are not criminals. And so if you can just put your hands on those people who are raising all the hell in the community and take them out of circulation, the crime rate drops.
People say there's undue emphasis on African Americans for committing crimes. Is that true? Ed Koch wrote in a column here that the population is 25% African American in New York. 62% of the crimes are committed by African Americans. Is that and he says
I haven't checked these figures, but throughout the world, this is not unusual. Throughout the world, people are disproportionately represented in all kinds of different things. And it's true, obviously, in basketball. It's true in all kinds of other things. The main thing is not to keep people out of jail because they're one race or another, because when you do that, the people who are going to suffer the most will be the black community.
Where are you on affirmative action?
Against.
Why?
Well, you can only do one of two things. You can either just judge people individually, or you can judge them by groups. This whole notion that you're going to come out with a compromise, I would defy anybody to come out with a compromise on that. You're going to do one of those two things. Now, you can pretend.
And that's why I'm really not for reparations in the first place, because I like the idea more of treating each individual on an individual case-by-case basis. And maybe there's a way of doing reparations that way, where if you can legitimately genetically prove your, you know what I'm saying? Maybe, but like there's still going to be trade-offs to that. And it's going to be understandable that people don't want to pay that, because it shouldn't be this generation that is paying for that. That should have been paid for by the generation that was engaged in that behavior. There's groups in this country right now who have dual citizenship. I won't mention what group they align themselves with, but they own the majority of the slave ships. Their ancestors or their descendants are running banks now. So those who own the slave ships, who were also citizens here or not, should have been brought to account for these things. In Britain and America, to be fair, the reparations for slavery, I think that's fair enough to say that liberating people from slavery is the reparations, right? I feel like that's fair enough. But then if you start bombing them and doing targeted government things against it, and it is tough too, because what you said earlier, I don't know if you're still here, homie, or not, but what my dude said earlier, what was it? Let me go up. Every race of people have been enslaved at some point in history. This is very true, what homie said. Wait, what was that? Oh, so he said his entire family is immigrants from Italy and Poland. But you chose to come here and you chose to become an American. So then you have to pay taxes, right? And then it's not your choice what those taxes are used for. And wouldn't you prefer if your taxes were used for something that, would show that your government actually cares about doing the right thing? But anyway, what I was going to comment on is every race of people have been enslaved at some point in history. This is true. What's different about the experience of Black Americans, the slavery of Black Americans was different because Irish people still know they're Irish. The Slavs still know that they're Slavic. They know where they came from. They still speak the languages that they had before they went into slavery. Now, obviously, they've changed over time, but they still speak Irish, Gaelic. They still speak Estonian. They still speak Russian, They didn't. Their history wasn't systematically erased and taken from them. Now, again, the Bible makes it pretty clear as to why, in my opinion. But, man, isn't that strange that only one group in all of human history, from what I can tell, that's gone through slavery, only one group would have their history taken from them? Why do you think that might be? Their religion, their language, them knowing who they are, systematically taken. And not just in America, wherever they were found. Very strange. It's a very strange set of circumstances. Exodus 28, Deuteronomy 28 seems to suggest that what would happen, and what has happened, and considering this is the only group, it seems to be like that there would be for a reason. But again, we should probably stay away from that topic for TOS. The TOS of, Twitch would probably be fine with it. They don't care if Hassan does it anyway. Which to be honest, what he does has nothing to do with history. It's more just to be provocative, I suppose. Because I don't think he really cares one way or the other. And I'm pretty sure if Israel sends him a check, oh shit, I done fucked up. But I feel like either way, if Israel sends him a check, he'd do a 180 in 2 seconds. It wouldn't mean nothing to him. Same with how Destiny was. I don't really want to get into that. I don't know a whole lot about it. I just know that you should probably make sure, if you're going to call someone anti-Semitic, you should be Semitic, or the people that they are being hatred or hateful towards, you should make sure they're actually Semitic and of Semitic descent. What does Semitic mean? I know I'm on one with the tangents today, but if you know what Semitic means, then you know that we know who they are and what they look like. Do the people who claim to be Semitic today look like that? They don't. But anyway.
Tend to be doing other things, but that's all you're going to do with this on that. You're going to do one of those two things. Now, you can pretend to be doing other things, but that's all you're going to do with. Those are the only two choices you really have in the end. Again, the people who are the anointed think of this as a symbolic issue, and they want to be on the side of the angels. They don't ask, what are the consequences? Now, I've studied affirmative action programs around the world. One of the consequences is that those people who are more fortunate in the group that has the preferences, those people take the lion's share of the preferences. Very often, those at the other end of the scale, the poorer people, actually fall further behind. That's true of blacks here. It's true of Malays in Malaysia. It's true of various groups in India. And there are reasons for that. You can say you must have certain proportions. Nothing is easier than for an employer who might otherwise locate, let's say, in the Bronx, to locate out in Provo, Utah, where he will be not near any black people, and therefore he will never have lawsuits, and the jobs will be in Provo, and people will wonder, why don't people, here have more jobs? It never seems to occur to liberals that other people are not blocks of wood, that when you set up certain incentives, they will react to them in certain ways. And when they do that, the result may be the opposite of what you set out to do.
How do the anointed refer to people they don't agree with?
All sorts of ways, but I think the main thing is they believe that you're not merely in error, but in sin. In other words, they can't believe that you're just mistaken. You must have sold out. You must be something warped about you.
You guys are for the rich. You guys only care about the rich guys. Answer that. How do you respond? Liberal says conservatives only care about rich people.
Well, one of the things I go into in the book is that the whole notion of rich is ridiculous. That most Americans don't stay in the same income bracket, even for 1 decade. So the same guy who is, quote, rich now was 20 years ago probably in the bottom 20%. I mean, I was on a cruise recently, luxury cruise, and the guy said, if someone had told me when I was growing up that I would end up on a cruise like this, I would have said, get real, man. That very few people are in that same income bracket the whole time. Right. The genuinely rich and the genuinely poor, I would estimate to be no more than 3% of the American people.
Really?
Put together.
Really?
Yes.
Genuinely poor. Now, I'm seeing numbers like when they were talking about health care, they said, 30 million people couldn't afford it or something?
Several million of those were making more than $50,000 a year. So it's not, see, this is one of the things the anointed do. They never believe that people make choices. There are people who have the money, they prefer to put that money into a BMW rather than a lot
of young people didn't.
Yeah, because, I mean, they would have considered me that when, I was 20 years old, right? And they were saying, like, I had to buy health care, and I was like, no, I don't. And then they were like, well, if you don't, you're going to be penalized on your taxes. And I was like, I ain't going to file my taxes. They already steal money out of my shit. Fuck them. You know what I mean? And I had to be an adult about that eventually and get that all squared away. But luckily, the law had already changed again, and people are able to do what they want to do. And yeah, so but I would have been part of that where people would have said, "Oh, he can't afford health insurance." It's like, no, I just didn't want to buy it under any like, for what purpose? I ain't gonna be in the hospital. Even though I damn near died at 18. 19. Yeah, right after I turned 19, right? I think so.
Didn't want health care. They were betting on their health.
Absolutely. And then this allows them to buy more stuff they want to buy. So it's not a question that they couldn't afford it. It's a question they don't choose to spend the money.
What about mean-spirited? Conservatives are mean-spirited. They're bigots. They don't like people.
Well, you know, one of the things I tell people say, you know, you're a very tough person. I'm not tough. Life is tough. I'm merely trying to acquaint you with those facts.
You know, back in the 60s, Lyndon Johnson announced a war on poverty. Am I wrong? But there are more poor people. I mean, in other words,
today than there were then. Yes.
Yeah, there are more poor people.
Yes.
I mean, this was a hell of a war. We lost it apparently because for the last 30 years we've been dumping money into these poverty programs.
Oh, absolutely.
Where's the money go?
Oh, it supports a whole industry of people who run those programs, who talk about those programs, research those programs, bureaucrats, and so on.
Doesn't help poor people.
No. The tragedy, you see, is that the anointed really want to make symbolic statements. And running these programs makes those symbolic statements. They don't really care if in the wake of affirmative action, for example, companies start locating away from minority communities so they don't even get involved in legal action. They don't care about that. They've made their statement on the side of the angels, and that's what's important.
Have you ever debated Jesse Jackson?
No, I haven't.
Is that because, would you like to, or would he not want to do that?
I have no idea. I have no idea.
You'd be willing to, I assume.
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
You think that's too much showbiz?
It is. You know, there are people who go and do this, and I'm doing less and less of it. And I tell them the story of an African boxing champion who fought an Irishman in St. Patrick's Day in Dublin. And he lost his title on what the sports writers called a questionable decision.
Yes.
And so you have to know what forum you're talking about.
Right.
I saw Shelby Steele on with him, and I said, you know, if Jesse Jackson and Shelby Steele each had to present a 2-hour lecture to an audience with an average IQ of 120, Shelby would wipe him out. But if they had 5 seconds each on Donahue, it would be Jesse Jackson all the way.
Right.
So everything depends upon the forum.
Is Jesse Jackson good for African Americans or not?
He's not. Good for himself.
Good for himself.
And that's true of most ethnic leaders in most groups, in most countries, in most periods of history.
Yes. It's true of most people. The first thing that you should be doing is trying to get yourself squared away. Because if you're not squared away, you can't help your family. And if you can't help your family, you can't help your community. If you can't help your community locally, you can't help your community on a broader scale. You know what I'm saying? So to a degree, I understand putting what's best for you first, but simply not at the expense of other people. That's when it's like, well, no, you could have bettered yourself without harming others in the process. That doesn't make sense. It's not necessary. It's actually like counter-capitalist. Capitalist should be, at least as it was developed and as it was most successful, was you're simply providing goods and services. You're providing more value to people than you're asking in return. And then the idea would be that hopefully what you're asking in return is like 5, well, I don't want to say 5, but like what you're asking in return is hopefully half as much as you need to provide it in the first place. That's capitalism. But it's based on providing value to people in some form or fashion, not trying to basically con people, which is what I think government does a lot of the time. a lot of the time.
That what will serve his interest is to keep people paranoid, dependent upon him, dependent upon government. What will serve their interest is typically just the opposite.
That's pretty interesting. So you're saying that the leaders, whatever group, leader, wants the people to be poor and dependent on them as opposed to dependent on themselves.
Oh, absolutely. And you see this in the greatest cynicism in the academic world, where in many places, black organizations on campus have a say on who gets admitted. And they have turned down blacks with excellent credentials, both as students and as faculty members, for that very reason.
Who are the mascots of the Anointed? You talk about the mascots of the Anointed.
They're people whom they choose to back and whose rights are supposed to override other people's rights. The homeless are a classic example. I'm appalled when I see people out there in the street giving money to the home. I mean, able-bodied men. I think one of the classic pictures to me was in San Francisco when there was this able-bodied white man out in the street begging, and there's this black lady coming along there, very modestly dressed, like she didn't have, but she's stopping to open her purse to give him some money, you know. I thought, good heavens, have we really come to this? And we've been brainwashed by the Anointed into thinking this is what we ought to do.
What do you say to guys who bum money off of you?
Not all of it can be repeated on the air, but the fact is they don't get any money.
They don't.
And people who complain now about all these people begging in the street, there's a simple answer. Don't give them money, and they won't be in the street.
When you wrote this, what were you trying to accomplish with the book, and did you do it? Were you nailing liberals for 30 years of social policy? What were you trying to say?
I was trying to reveal the thinking behind that, the kinds of assumptions, the kind of world that exists inside their mind, and therefore why those assumptions are so dangerous in the long run. It's not just the policies mentioned in that
They
book.
think they're better than everybody else.
Oh, absolutely. There's no question. And that's what makes them dangerous. Even all the policies that are mentioned there, 20 years from now, those policies may not be the policies we're concerned about. But that mindset will still be there. And what makes them tremendously dangerous is that facts that contradict what they believe are simply ignored or evaded.
Where does the press fall into this as the Anointed group? Are they part of the Anointed?
Oh, absolutely. They're a major part of it, because one of the reasons that people don't get many of the facts that go against what's believed is that the press doesn't choose to publicize those facts.
Give me an example of something the press might not cover or cover well.
Oh, a few years ago, there was a story about prenatal care among blacks, that black women get less prenatal care than white women. The infant mortality rate is higher among blacks. They immediately assume that one causes the other. Now, one of the things I like to do is go back to the original source and find out what it said. I went back. On the very same page where it said that, the figures showed Mexican Americans get even less prenatal care than blacks, and they have a lower infant mortality rate than whites. So prenatal care and infant mortality rate have nothing to do with each other. If you break it down further, black women who have only a high school education, but who are married, their children have lower infant mortality rates than white women who have a college education, who are unwed mothers. So it's not race, it's not income, it's not education, it's lifestyle. When you live a certain way, there are consequences to that. The media doesn't want to accept that. Because if you say people's lifestyles have a lot to do with the outcome, then there's no room for the Anointed.
Exactly. If people are only accountable to themselves and to God, then they won't have to be accountable to the government. No, I can't do that. No, we ain't doing that. No more Destiny stuff. Fuck that. We ain't doing that. Well, let's see here. What else do I want to do? No. I think we got most of these. Shit, we might just... How long have we been on? Okay, a couple of hours. I mean, I might just go ahead and dip on out. Judaism is not what you think. Oh yeah, shit, boy. I'm going to a concert tonight of some sort, and yeah, me and the old lady, we're gonna drive on over to Nashville, and we're gonna see this individual. I think it'll be fine to let this play while I pee and just let y'all enjoy. Hopefully, it's gonna be a crazy ass show. We're gonna find out.
Look, from the very beginning, football's been a conspiracy to make us hungry. Now, let me tell you where it all started.
And we'll call it.
Do you think you're better off alone? Do you think you're better off alone?
This is the thing that is kind of funny about it is like first of all, Kendrick's people and the gang affiliate, everybody, his security, they
Ashley, we make it feel.
It's kind of wild to think about, but as
Well, the wife came home. I guess I'm just gonna fuck around for a bit.
$25 a month forever. That's a great idea.
I know. I do all my best thinking in the shower.
Explaining complex topics can be challenging. Highlight the text you want to simplify and let Grammarly rewrite it.
Do you think you're
So what do we got here? Okay, white to move.
Do you think you're better off alone?
Win what piece? That's the question. Not like that, I don't think I can play more than 3 in a row. Like to move. Try to reach a position where pawn promotion is inevitable. What's the hint? My first thought was here. Okay. For me, should I say? Fine.
It's not easy being the one everyone counts on to keep your operation running. That's why at Grainger, we're here for you. With professional-grade industrial supplies and fast delivery. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Target made Good and Gather for you, helping you save on delicious salads, chopped and ready. For quick, easy meals. Everyday favorites at unbeatable prices. We made Good and Gather for you, only at Target.
Is it? You think? Damn, okay. What would they do? Would they say, I mean, we get a hint. Okay, well, damn. So go ahead and recapture, I'm assuming, yes. And then you can capture with that. Okay. That makes sense. Oh, I got some days I ain't done yet. Okay. Okay, white to move. My opinion. Don't know where to move to, though. That's the only thing. Okay, Damn. So what is this? For your information, you can have music on 2 different audio tracks, so you can push the non-music version to pause to avoid copyright and stop fun or stop music and all. Fair enough. What I've been doing, because I don't mind